I'm Ash. Today I'm going to show you guys how I make my octopus jars. Let's get to it. Alright, so I start by rolling out my super Sculpey polymer clay in my Atlas 150 pasta machine, and I roll that out into a size 2 thickness to cover the jars with. So once I have that to the thickness that I like, I take the plastic seal off the jar because that's not going to be able to go in the oven without melting. And once I have that off, I'm going to lay my clay out and cut a nice clean line to put along the lip of the jar. And then I'm going to measure out how much I need for the jar and then just cut that down to size so I have a smaller piece to work with. And once I have that cut down to a more manageable size, I like to roll it onto the jar using the heel of my hand and just like pressing it on, trying to get out as many of the air bubbles as I can. And then once I get it all lined up, I will go through and like roll my fingers over it to get out the rest of the bubbles. Cut the seam, press it all on, and blend it all together. And once it's all pressed together, just cut off any excess clay and smooth it all out. And then once I have all that smooth, gotta do the same thing with the lid. Kind of the same concept. I just try to like roll it on, get out as many air bubbles as I can, and then I'm gonna press it up around it. I don't know how to explain this. You can see what I'm doing. And then just cut off the excess again and smooth out the edge. And once I have my jar covered, I'm going to take this metal ball tool. I think I got this off the Wish app. And I'm going to texture it. Wish you guys could hear this sound. I had kids talking in the background, so you couldn't hear the sound. But it's so satisfying. Anyway, I texture it not all the way down to the bottom because I'm going to put the tentacles on right there. So I leave some space because that's just extra work. I'm going to have to retexture that area once I blend all them tentacles on. One of the best things about Super Sculpey is that it comes like this, so it's easy to measure out how much I need. So I use 2, coils for each tentacle. It ends up being a little bit too much, but it's fine. It's the easiest way for me to get them as symmetrical as I possibly can. And I just roll it like this and, push it around until I get the shape that I want it to be. Alright, and now once that I have all 8 tentacles made, I'm gonna attach them. I like to use this silicone tipped brush to smooth the tentacles on. I don't know if smooth is the word I'm looking for, but you guys can see what I'm doing here. Yeah, just press the clay together and I kind of like a rolling motion with the silicone tipped brush to just smooth it all out. Alright, here is all 8 tentacles. They're a little long, so I'm gonna trim them down and smooth them back out, and then texture them the same way that I textured the body. I like to go in with the smaller end around the tentacles, try to get in between the spaces and get as much texture into that area as I can. And then we get to make some eyeballs. I'm gonna show you guys how I make my eyeballs next. So my eyeballs are just 12mm glass cabachons that I paint. I use a black enamel paint for the pupils. Most enamel paints will have a little wine glass on the bottle. Then I'll just use a smaller ball-tipped tool to make the pupil. And once the pupil is done drying, I will go in and paint the eye color. And for the eye color on these, I'm going to use Lumiere's, I think that's how you say it, Hollow Pink Gold. I love this color, it is my favorite. Then I make 2 little clay hockey puck type dealios to put the eyeballs in. Watch me struggle to get them symmetrical. There we go. Then we just put the eyeballs in there and give them a little push. And then I like to go in with that ball tool again and texture around the eyeballs. Now I texture the tentacles. I thought I was going to do that earlier, but no, I don't. I forgot. I do them after I put on the eyeball. Anyway, same thing. Ball tool. Texturing the tentacles. Once those are all textured, I will curl them, which is the most satisfying part. This one's going to be holding a key, which does not get baked with the piece because the key is so heavy that it makes the tentacle fall over when it's baking. then I have a little map, like a treasure map in a bottle with some sand and a little shark's tooth for him to hold. Then once I have all of the tentacles curled, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna texture it again. Here we go. And now I'm going to add the little dimples, for lack of a better word. I just take some clay and roll it up into a little ball and then stick them randomly all over the body. I'm going to go in with a ball tool. Again, I use those a lot. And push the ball tool into the clay to make a little dimply thing. Now for the lid on this one, I have this little keyhole that is resin. I have a mold with a bunch of different shaped keyholes that I make keyholes with. Yeah. And then I just painted the resin with some more of that Lumiere paint in, I think it's called pewter. I checked, it's called pewter. Yeah, and then I'm going to do the same little dimply things on the lid. Once that's finished, I'm going to bake it in my oven at 275 degrees Fahrenheit for 25 minutes. I have this little pan that I lined with cardstock to keep it from sticking and burning on the pan. Yeah. And now, if you're happy with the color you sculpted in, you can leave it like that, but we're going to paint it. I like to use this Peel Tech masking fluid on the eyes. It just helps with the cleanup later, so you're not painting over the eyeballs. And this stuff just peels right off. It's very satisfying. To paint, I use acrylic paints. I'm using Deco Art in Dioxine Purple. I think that's how you say it. I have a wide variety of acrylic paints, so brand doesn't really matter, in my opinion. I just pick what colors I like. So this piece took 4 coats of paint because this particular paint is a little opaque. So it just took a little more. Some paints only take 2 coats. So we'll get 4 coats of paint on this, and then we're going to come back and add that accent color. For the accent color, I like to use the same color that I used for the eyes, which is that hollow pink gold. And another little ball tool, what can I say? And put the paint in all them little dimples, and then I like to go in and put some little polka dots on the tops of the tentacles. Sometimes I will paint the tips of the tentacles in the color. Just depends on what I'm feeling that day. So that's it for paint. Once this is all dry, I'm going to go in and seal it. To seal and protect the paint, I use Sculpey glaze, and the glaze I'm using is the Glas finish. Alright, now that it's all dry, we're going to peel that masking fluid off and finish cleaning up the eyeballs and taking all the paint off of the glass rim of the jar, the bottom of the lid, just getting all that extra paint off that doesn't belong there. Once the glass lid is all paint free, we can pop that plastic seal right back on there. And once the piece is all cleaned up, we can attach the key in the little bottle. I use some E6000 and UV resin to secure those in place permanently. And this was a really awkward process to film, and I totally forgot to put my gloves on. But please, if you're using these, use gloves if you use these products. And if you're using UV resin, you need to wear a respirator mask as well, because that stuff is toxic. I like to quick set mine with my flashlight and then take it outside in the sun to finish curing, so all those fumes can air outside. And that's it. Here's the finished product. I hope you guys like it. If y'all have any suggestions or anything else that you would like to see me sculpt, drop it in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys will like this video and subscribe to my channel.